Hello and welcome to E&T TV. Today we'll be looking at Microsoft's replacement for Windows Vista, Windows 7, which is expected to be released later this year, 2009. In January, Microsoft released the first public beta of Windows 7, and this month, May, Microsoft announced Release Candidate 1, or commonly known as RC1, which has some interesting features to encourage take-up by Microsoft's enterprise customers. I have with me my colleague Chris Sangani, who's been taking an advanced look at the Windows 7 RC1 for a review in E&T magazine. Chris, welcome to E&T TV.
Thank you, James.
First of all, what do you think will impress enterprises most about Windows 7?
I suppose the easiest way would be to demonstrate some of the advantages.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, one thing what you'll notice there is with Windows Vista, if anyone was actually used to it, is you would have actually had a gadget sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen there.
Yep.
Now, many IT professionals and users complained that it was very resource hungry.
Right.
So now, by default, it's gone, and none of the gadgets are there.
Okay. Chris, are there any other benefits in Windows 7 for enterprise users?
The most important thing which IT professionals will be pleased about is the small footprint of the actual software. When I imaged the actual disk, it was about 2.5 gigabytes in size, which is significantly smaller than Windows Vista, which was almost 4 gigabytes in size. And also, it will actually load with the most important features available on machines which could range from the most powerful quad-core workstations to the most simple netbooks.
What can Windows 7 offer any enterprises who want to retain the capability to run XP on some of their computers?
Well, you might have an enterprise software which will only work optimally on Windows XP.
Right.
And that might be a barrier to actually upgrading to Windows 7. But what Windows 7 actually has is a new mode. So if I click on the Start button here,
right,
and search for Virtual XP,
so what this feature is actually doing is what? It's creating a kind of XP compatible environment inside Windows 7?
Absolutely, and it's not just compatible with external applications, it's also compatible with the external Windows 7 environment as well, so you could drag software in and cut and paste between them, etc. But it is actually an operating system within an operating system.
Chris, security is a big issue these days for any kind of any software. What special features does Windows 7 have in terms of security provision?
Well, one thing which security professionals will be very pleased about is how Windows 7 handles USB thumb drives. Now, with Windows Vista, Windows introduced a new security system called BitLocker, which added a layer of security to mounted drives. Now, this has been extended in Windows 7 to USB thumb drives like this one here, and now what you can do is add the security to the actual drive itself.
Chris, what are the other features for enterprise users that Windows 7 offers?
Security professionals will also be pleased with the addition of Windows Direct Access, which will mean that once users log in to their PC, the actual security professionals will be able to update patches and send through software updates and policy updates to any PC, whether the user is actually on the corporate campus or at any other location connected to the internet.
Chris, what about the industry analysts? How positive have they been towards Windows 7 so far?
Well, James, I managed to speak to a couple of well-known industry analysts. I spoke to Bob Tarzi, who's the service director at the analyst group Quo Circa, and he believes that many enterprises put off by Windows Vista will be pleased by the refinements in Windows 7. Also, I spoke to Benjamin Gray, who's a senior analyst at Forrester, and he recently wrote an advisory note to clients to start preparing for Windows 7 deployment now. He's very impressed with the backwards compatibility with Windows XP.
Okay, so it looks as if Microsoft may have got it right this time.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Well, Chris Sangani, thank you very much, and we'll end it there.